Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Magnificent Seven stocks as well as earnings reports for some stocks that we like and maybe use that have come out this week. So, CNN, Fear and Greed, we are up in greed. We are at 73 and going to pie investing, which I prefer over CNN, but try to consider both. We have gone back up into extreme greed. So we went under it and we've been under it since early February. And now recently we've gone back above into extreme greed. So earnings reports, let's take a look at some of these that have come out this week. Let's go to Monday. So there we go. Get that giant ad out of there. So any here that I might want to take a look at? Me personally, no, I don't use any of these. So let's just move on here. And if there are any that you see, pull up TradingView, take a look at the charts, and I'll show you how I look at the charts, some things I look for. Coles, rest in peace, Herb Cole, former owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. And let's see, any others? Kohl's not a bad store. The one thing I've never liked about Kohl's though is they always say that their stuff's like 70% off, and it's like, well, no one would be buying it at a 70% higher price. So Dollar Tree, I know some people are into that. Maybe we could take a look at Kohl's, Dollar Tree, any others. We have Woof, Petco Health Company. I'll probably skip that one. Adobe, it's a good one. Yeah, the dollar ones, they've come out. Ulta Beauty, I think, yeah, this Thursday one, it's worth taking a look at some of these. Dick's Sporting Good, I'll be interested to look at that. A lot of good ones out here on Thursday. Some that I'm familiar with. And tomorrow, Friday, what do we got? We have nothing I'm seeing so far. Groupon. I remember I used to use Groupon a lot more. Not as much now. So, all right. Well, those are some of them, just the top ones. And, they are organized by market cap. So I think we said we would start here on Tuesday, right? Yeah, we'd start with Kohl's and begin there. So, first of all, let's take a look at some of the factors in the stock market. We have just been going up, and since this bottom we had here in October 23, I mean, this is on the weekly. We've had one red week, and we've gone up 25% from down here at 4130 up to practically 5200 on the S&P. Guys, I cannot describe how rare and huge that is, and we've had a couple of these very recently. So that's something to keep in mind. You may hear the Fed talking about rate cuts and stuff. Here are the last three times, it's the red lines when rates have been cut. So in 2019, we went up a little bit, and then we had the COVID crash. A lot of people are thinking a recession was coming anyways. Maybe a more organic recession was going to come, but with COVID, we had all that quantitative easing, record low rates, 6 trillion injected out of thin air. That's why we're dealing with such bad inflation, high cost of cars, houses, groceries, all that stuff right now. So without COVID, it'd be interesting what would have happened. Maybe the market would have got down to like 2,700, and then we would have had a nice recovery. So different times. Anyways, pay attention here to these two red lines. This is when rates were first cut from being held higher for longer. This was the dot-com bubble. This was a great financial crisis. So the rate cuts are pretty dang close to the very top. And the bottom was about 20 months to 24 months away. So a year and a half to 2 years. Not saying that has to be the same thing that happened this time around. Maybe it's only 3 months away, the bottom, and we just ape down really hard. Maybe it's going to be 3 years away. You never know. So just something to watch for and keep in mind. When we take a look at the VIX, it's the volatility of the market. You can see we're trending up, but still pretty low. I'd be waiting for this to break through maybe somewhere around 16. If we take the volatility of the markets divided by the VVIX, which is the volatility of the VIX, what you get here is this phenomenon. When we're spiked down here, that tends to be local tops in the market. when we're really high. When we spike up, it tends to be when we have bottom. So here, look, March 2020 when we sold off. Here, October 22 when the markets were really low. So when this does spike up and gets above this 0.3 level, that might be a good time to start dollar cost averaging in some of the markets overall. Take a look at the 10-year divided by the 2-year. We're still waiting for this to uninvert. And when it uninverts, that tends to be pretty close to when those first rate cuts happen, by the way. So after uninversion, look at this. We have recessions that typically come later, but we'll get the date of when we uninvert. So January of 01 and June of 07. Let's take a look where that is. January 01. So January 01. Look, right after rate cuts. And June of 07. Right before rate cuts and right after. So it tends to be very, very close, the uninversion, to where rate cuts are. So I'm curious to see if that's going to happen again. Unemployment rate recently had a little bit of a notch up, but something to know is that when this thing really shoots up, excuse me, when this thing really shoots up, that tends to be when the recession's already happening. So just know this can trend kind of slowly, and then recession's called, and then boom, it can go up quite a bit. So let's take a look at the Mag 7 stocks. Let's start off with NVIDIA because it's the most exciting one there is. Who are we kidding? So if we take a look at this on the log, I mean, God, look at it, by the way, not on the log. If that doesn't look like a bubble, I don't know what does. So we have not had a monthly buy signal since down here, late 2022. Going to the weekly, we have not had a weekly buy signal since it was around 460, right under this 1.618. So some good accumulation, and boom, it's taken off. It got up to this 3.618, right around 967. Let's zoom in on this. So look at that. Got right up to 967, got a little bit above 970s, and then has come back down. It has happened before, okay, where it's come back down. This stayed on the trend line, sold off, and then boom, ran right through. So here's what'll happen. Maybe it's going to just stay up here and then shoot up through it again. Should it do that? Should we get above that 970 area? The next fib here, the 4.236, is that all the way at 1100. A lot of people have talked about 1200 in comparison to Cisco. The 1,000 mark is going to be a big psychological barrier. I wouldn't doubt if there's some selling in and around that 1,000. But the next fib, this is something to watch for should we break through this 967 range. So just something to keep in mind. And yeah, we're just straight bullish. Okay. RSI is bullish. We're bullish. If you take a look at the last year, sure, we're coming down a little bit, having some sell signals. Guys, I would not be buying NVIDIA right now personally. If you haven't gotten NVIDIA since this 400 range, or when it was at the October 22 low area, the 120 to 170 range, I would not be buying it right now. This thing has gone up so much, so fast. It is in a bubble, and it is getting ready to pop. When that's going to happen, who knows? Let's take our buy sell signal, take it off. Let's add in on our bubble risk indicator. I'm curious. Yeah, look at that. Okay. We zoom out, man, our bubble risk indicator is very, very high. So could this go higher? Sure it could, but it is in a bubble, and be careful. This is why I say time in the market is more important than timing the market, and please do not chase because, gosh, medium term, it does look like this thing is going to sell off hard, possibly get back down to these levels or, somewhere down in the 200s if we have a big recession. Next, let's take a look at Microsoft, and let's take this off and zoom out a little bit. So Microsoft on the weekly, we haven't had a buy signal since around the 370 range. We're at 425. We're hitting this 10 MA, and it does look like it wants to stay on there or go above. That's pretty good. Let's draw a fib from this prior high to low, and yeah, it looks like it wants to get to this 1618 here, this 434 level. Should it break above there? Man, 570, is that in play? Who knows? Again, remember that Microsoft, it has a market cap of 3.16 trillion. So if it's getting up here, That's quite a move. Let's take a look at the percentage of that from just where it is right now. That would be around a 38% move. I don't know if I quite believe that can happen. You never know though. But again, we're above 3 trillion. This is the top stock in the world. This 1618 might be the top area. We'll see. Next, hey, and would I be buying Microsoft right here? No. I would wait, spend some more time in the market, wait for fear to come back, wait for things to be oversold, and at least on the weekly, wait for us to get under the 50 mark. Because some of these top stocks, they don't get all the way down to 30. But if you wait for it to be under 50 and are willing to be patient, wait for the turnaround on a buy signal, and you just start dollar cost averaging in on those, it's a good way to get value. Next, let's take a look at Apple, which has a $2.67 trillion market cap. And let's remove this fib here. And yeah, Apple's looking pretty bearish. So we have this sell signal. We're under the moving averages. This thing just looks like it wants to go lower. And I am curious if we draw from that prior high to the low, did we hit any fibs up higher? No. And guys, that goes to show you, we don't have to. Okay, if we go back further, okay, nothing either. So let's then move this fib to the recent tops. Okay, what do we have down here? Well, we have Apple forming a base at this 618 region, which is right at around 170. It's gone a little bit above it. If we zoom in, curious what it did with that fib. Okay, so got a little bit underneath it, formed a base. So it has to stay on or above this fib. If we zoom out, something I'd be curious of, anytime we're going down, get rid of the buy-sell signals, okay? You can come back to it, wait for a buy signal on the turnaround, on the weekly at least, but throw on your moving averages. So the 20, 50, 100, 200 on the weekly. What do we notice here? We are right at that 100. And I think that's happened about a dozen times since 2000 that Apple has been at or under the 100 moving average. So should we break underneath that? Man, that 200 is all the way down here at 146, and it is very rare for Apple, Microsoft to get down to those ranges. So anytime Apple's between these blue lines, 100 and the 200, tend to be a good time to dollar cost average in. So if you DCA'd into Apple right now, cool, awesome. I understand. I think historically that tends to be pretty good value. Next, let's take a look at Amazon. And Amazon has a $1.86 trillion market cap. And we are above the moving averages. So let's take a look at the buy-sell signals, see where we've been at since. And yeah, last one we got was here at 150. And where might we, do we have any bearishness? Well, got a little bit under the 20 on the daily. Let's zoom out and at least take a look at these. So we haven't gotten into new all-time highs. I'm curious. Let's take a look at these fibs. So let's go from the very high to the very low and throw this on a log. And what do we got? So looks like it does want to maybe get back to the all-time highs. Should it get above it, then I like taking this off log because the next number shows a stupid high. But that 1618 at 255 would be the next area. Again, consider market cap when you do this. So if we did get up to 255, what you do is you take that 255 number, you divide it by where we're currently at, which is around 179, and that is 1.425. Okay, and we take that, multiply it times the market cap, 1.86 trillion, and that would put Amazon at a $2.65 trillion market cap. Should it get up there? Do I believe it can get up there with Microsoft and Apple? I'm not so sure. So maybe this is one. I guess if I was watching Amazon, maybe it kind of matches prior all-time highs and then comes down a bit. That would be my guess. But hey, your guess is as good as mine on this one. If you're feeling very bullish on Amazon, this is the area to watch for. Okay, next let's go over to Google. And Google, okay, let's zoom in here. So Google, is this on the log? It kind of looks like it is, but I want to confirm. There we go. So got under that 20 moving average, and look, it's done this before a couple times, but then keeps going above. So the body isn't getting completely under there. And on the weekly, we may be getting ready for a turnaround buy signal. Should we take this off? I'm curious what the moving averages show on the weekly. Okay, so we got under that first one, the 20, and it bounced off that 50 really good. So that's sometimes why we have to get rid of the 10 and the 20s. See what else is in play. Bounce off that 50. Got close to it, but bounced off pretty nicely. So, yeah, maybe we're getting a turnaround and we might get a buy signal soon. So, Google, it's another one of those stocks where anytime it's under the 100 or 200, those tend to be really good times to buy with the top Magnificent 7 stocks. Meta, I know Meta's just looking straight up bullish. We haven't had a buy sell signal in a while. And with Meta, gosh, when we zoom out, yeah, we're in all-time high region. And the next area to look for is this 567 level. So 567, how much of a percentage is it from where we're at? Well, we would be at around 14-15% higher. So something to keep in mind with Meta. It's got a market cap of 1.25 trillion. Watch for this 565 level. It's probably going to do some bouncing around, some nonsense up there. Okay. And then let's go to Tesla, the bastard child of the Magnificent 7 stocks, if you will. And Tesla, oh my God, all these lines. This thing is not looking good. So Tesla, guys, I've talked pretty much every time about Tesla how something I don't like about it is its market cap is, it's usually been, at least in these areas, around 15 to 20 times higher of a market cap than Ford and GM with half the amount of revenue. Now, one thing I really like about Tesla, or a couple things. One, it has the Elon situation with it. A lot of people like and believe in Elon and what he does with technology, SpaceX, the Boring Company, Tesla, all that. So Elon as a figurehead, love him or hate him, having a very popular, well-known figurehead who people religiously believe in can be a very good thing for a company. Also, their balance sheet looks very good. Their revenue is far outweighed its expenditures. They have a lot of extra cash on hand. So Tesla, I know EVs are getting nuked in the markets right now, but Tesla, should there be a recession, it'd be the one I would predict to survive, unlike a Rivian. Rivian probably get bought up by Ford or somebody. But if we take a look at some things here, okay, we had this wedge forming from these lows, and we have broken underneath it, okay? And let's change this fib, by the way. I want to go very macro with this. So I'm going to go from that macro high to low and see what we got. I know I did not draw that fib perfectly. I am well aware. And is this on log? Good. It is. Looked like it is, but I just want to make sure. So we are right underneath this 382, and guys, that is bearish. Whenever we make a high and after the next low that we stay under and go back under the 382, that is not good. So this thing, it may get back down to the 100 level. And heck, just talking about market cap, how this has a 500 some billion dollar market cap. Think of this, Ford, GM, they're like around 50 billion. So even if this got down to 100 and went down 80%, where would that put Tesla? I'm just curious about this. So if we did, I have my calculator here on my phone. If I did 0.8 times 162, wow. So that would put Tesla at around 30. Do I believe Tesla's going to be around 30? No, but you never know. Markets can do crazy things, especially in a recession. Does 30 show up here? My God, would you look at that? So 25, 30, it's kind of in the upper range of all this accumulation. But let's take a look up here before COVID. At the bottom of COVID right here, kind of where there's a lot of accumulation, that's right around 30. So that an 80% drop would take us there. Let's say we got up here at around 54, okay? So 54 divided by 162. So that's a third. Yeah, obviously. That's about a third of where we're at. So if we did like a 2/3 drop, we would be getting out here. Now that's max bearishness. Obviously, you'd want to watch 236 to 141 level. Then you'd want to watch to see if it got under these lows right here. And then, let's see, we're on the weekly. We had a buy signal, and then there is a sell signal there. Okay. And then next thing, obviously, we're going to take a look at our moving averages. Where are we at with the 200 on the weekly? I'm curious. So on the weekly, oh boy. Yeah, on the weekly, we are underneath all of them. That is not good. On the monthly, yeah, you can see the weekly, the 200 on the weekly is now turned into resistance. Not support, but resistance. So here we had, when we got under resistance, we had that mega V bottom reversal when it got down to the 100 range. And the 100, that's a big psychological level. So something to keep in mind. If we go to the monthly and take a look at the moving averages on the monthly, where do we have? Let's set this on auto. 200 is not even showing up. That's fine. We take a look at this 100. Okay, this is more realistic. We have this 145, which is near the fib of 140. So if you like it and you believe in Tesla, I would say this is the area to be patient for and wait for. The 144 region, maybe you have some orders in at 150. I would not blame you because, God, look at how quick that wicks down. So if you like and believe in Tesla, maybe you get it here at 150. I would not blame you for buying in there. But Tesla, not looking good. Going to some of the earnings reports. What did we talk about? We talked about Kohl's. And, yeah, this is on Tuesday. We talked about Kohl's. We talked about, was there any others from this Tuesday? I could have sworn there's another one. Just looking at these guys. I look for stocks I like, stocks I use. Okay, let's take a look at Kohl's. Kohl's Corporation. And it does say on there what the ticker is. So I want to make sure that I'm getting it right. KSS. All right. That's the little spiel there. Kohl's Corporation. Boom. Right in front of my face. So that's on the monthly. That's not looking good. That's on the weekly. Man, Kohl's is under everything right now. So Kohl's, man, it's looking like crap. Kind of like Tesla here. You know, we had that low back here in March 2020. And though Tesla's, I believe that was around October of 22. So Kohl's not looking good. Not looking good, guys. And if we take a look at some buy-sell signals, and you know what? Let's do a different one. Let's go to UT Bottle Alerts. It's more of a confirming buy-sell signal. And at least on the weekly, we got a buy signal. It's played out a little bit. But we see some red forming. Yeah, so it had a nice 40% move up, but it did as well back here. And look at the RSI. So we smacked this thing a bunch of times. Now it is trying to be bullish on this RSI. I'd wait for more accumulation. Me personally, I wouldn't be touching this thing with the 10-foot pole just because how erratic it is. Overall, this trend, I mean, we had that brutal sell-off, lower highs. Maybe we're getting some accumulation. Looks like it may want to come down again because we are so high in the RSI. So me, I'm not touching Kohl's. Don't love that chart at all. Let's go to Wednesday. And yeah, we have Dollar Tree, DLTR. Let's take a look at Dollar Tree. I'm curious, what are the dollar store stocks looking like? All right, wow. Yeah, so earnings, this is what can happen, massive sell-offs. So I would wait for this thing to finish out, see where we settle in at. We were recently touching the overbought area. You know, with these stocks, you can wait for them to be oversold, double tap on the oversold, wait for the turnaround on a buy signal. Okay, not that you should only do that. And if we throw in some moving averages, at least on the weekly, what do we got here? Would you look at that? Look down to the 200, but then has found a base where all these are converging. So would I be buying this right now? No. But I would look for some sort of a base to form and to see where to go from there. Right now, overall, I mean, you can see that we have a bearish channel here. And it's almost wanting to go a lot lower. So I would not be dollar cost averaging into Dollar Tree at this moment. Me personally, I not loving how that chart looks. I'd wait and see how it plays out a little bit. Williams Sonoma, I know some of you guys wear their clothes. Check out their chart, should you like them. Just making sure I don't miss any here that I might like or use. Feels like people only over 50 years old wear Williams Sonoma. Sorry if that feels like a personal attack. Adobe, ADBE. And all right, wow, look at this wild thing. So it topped up here in November of 21, just like a lot of other stocks did. And man, it got down here in October 22. Let's draw a fib and let's get rid of this UT bot alerts here. Okay, moving averages came back down to the 50. I want to draw a fib here from the high to the low. And okay, what do we got? So right here, we're under the 786. It does look like maybe it wants to get down to the 618 around this 488 level here. It kind of curious that it may come down here. Of course, we have the 50, so maybe it's going to stay on the 50 and go above. We'll see. Man, this move is pretty big, but overall, too many violent moves as far as selling and buying, red and green going on. I rather see some good accumulation, some steady accumulation, but if you do like this, throw on one of your buy sell signals and, see if you can get some of these stocks when they're a little lower. If you're buying them at the 50 and you really love them, sure, cool. But, me personally, gosh, this is the last year. Look how close we are to yearly highs. So I wouldn't be buying it now. I would wait for some time to pass. And should time pass and, hey, we're here in August and the price is somewhere around 500, then I would reconsider. So that's my thoughts on Adobe. And we have Dollar General, DG, Dollar General. All right, so man, we were underneath these on the daily. Let's go take a look at the monthly, the weekly. And my God, this thing, what kind of sell-off is this? That's brutal. So this sold off in October 23 and was a 60% move down. That's nuts. And I'm sure if we throw on some buy-sell signals, kind of like how this one looks more. If we throw on some buy-sell signals, what do we see? We had just 2 green weekly buy signals. So that 200-week moving average and the 100, it is resistance. It would have to get above that. Right now it's above that 50, so it would have to stay above there. So Dollar General, if you got it down here, congratulations. However, we still have this macro downtrend right here. I'd be very careful with this one. Maybe this is a nice turnaround and a springboard to go higher. But yeah, if you really like Dollar General, you use it, you love it, you've done your research, their balance sheet looks good, okay. Then yeah, maybe you're getting some good deals way down here. Next, let's take a look at Ulta. I'm curious about Ulta. So Ulta Beauty. Guys, this is what a strong chart looks like. And so again, one that honors this 200. Of course, we had the COVID crash, so that's different. But when it does get under the 100, it tends to bounce off the 200. So those tend to be stronger looking stocks. Market cap of 27 billion. We're above the moving averages. We haven't had a buy signal since 480. So, maybe this one, if it keeps staying bullish, Ulta, it could be a candidate for a stock split someday. If we do a fib from the high to the low and take it off log, where could Ulta go up to? Hey guys, I hope you notice, this is just some ways I look at charts, ways to target things. Okay, next I'd be eyeing that 670 mark. Okay, and if Ulta was something I liked and used, it is not something I use, but if it was, then I'm picking it up when it's at the 50, 100, 200. I just dollar cost average in on the buy signals, on the turnaround. As long as I'm liking the product, using the product, liking the balance sheet, all that, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, and when it's under the 200, If it's a product you love, that you like, man, then you should be going in hard. Okay? A lot of people, they freak out when things are down here and they don't buy because they think, well, how low could this go? When that's truly the best opportunity you can have. So just something to think about. A lot of people miss those opportunities. Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS. And I think we'll end there. Okay, we're going up to 30 minutes here. So Dick's Sporting Goods, and we are in all-time high territory. Obviously, this is the COVID crash, and it looks the same. Dick's Sporting Goods, by the way, does this not look like the S&P a little bit? You know, here that's probably late 22. Yep, close to it. Late 23. Yep. You know, so Dick's Sporting Goods kind of representing the S&P 500 a little bit. It's at yearly highs. It's at all-time highs. I wouldn't be buying it. Last weekly buy signal was here around $1.40. You know, and if we draw a fib from, where was the prior high? Okay, over here. If we draw a fib from over here, high to the next low, I'm looking for that $237 area right there at the 2618. So I think that's the next target. Market cap is 17.7 billion. I'd be eyeing up here, possibly to take some profits, or maybe as an area where it could bounce back down from. Okay, so Dick's Sporting Good looks like it has very strong chart and very strong stock. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed this video for earnings reports and Magnificent 7 stocks, just how they're looking this week. Of course, increase your time in the market. Never invest more than what you're willing to lose. And when we are in extreme greed, as I say in the beginning of the video, be cautious. Be extremely cautious. I like when the relative strength index is oversold, double tapping, triple tapping the oversold area on the RSI. I like when the stocks that I love, that I use, and when you use it, you have insider information on it. I like when they're under at or 100, the 100 moving average. That tends to be good. We can go to the fibs. You know, when we draw the fibs and we are underneath all-time highs, when you throw them on the log scale, that tends to show you good areas to buy. Okay, as long as we stay above the 382 and stay bullish. So, again, look for the turnarounds on the buy signals, at least on the weekly or even the monthly if you're willing to be more patient, you know, on the monthly. You can be very patient and only buy those. But again, sometimes you're going to take a little bit of a loss. And here's another thing to know, guys. If we ever have a big bullish move up in a short correction like we did here, I'm not buying that next monthly buy signal. I'm just not. I'm waiting for more of a sell-off, okay? So that's one thing I look for, as well as get to the 100 and the 200 MA. So just some ways that I try to increase the value of my investments and how I try to use my patience to my advantage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day weekend. Stay safe. Drive safe. Do not drink and drive. Get an Uber. Paying for an Uber and a parking ticket, even if it's $100, is way cheaper than $5,000-$10,000 and all the hassle going to court if you get a drunk driving ticket, as well as making other people unsafe. So do yourself a favor. Do everyone else a favor. Be safe this weekend. Make sure you and your friends are safe, and have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.